Hello and welcome to the Calmcast, a time to feel calm and think clearly. I'm Claire Downham, the Queen of Calm, a transformational life coach. I was a burnt out head teacher who finally made the journey to calm after years of trying, and I want to prevent you from having to do the same. The Calmcast is a series of short explorations, gently guiding you back to your natural state, which is calm and clarity. Just listen like you would listen to music, with an open mind and curiosity. There's nothing else to do. Now let's relax into today's episode. So today is all about challenging the definitions of confidence. And I've stepped into a space that I wasn't really very sure about not so long since. And that is the space of AI and ChatGPT. And I really wasn't sure. I've watched Super Intelligence. If you haven't watched that film, I highly recommend it. It's very funny, but it's also a little bit eerie around what AI may eventually end up doing. But I then decided that I could use this tool. And so I had a go, and I've asked ChatGPT all sorts of things, and my fiance Bruce and I've had all sorts of fun asking it things. But I asked it, what is confidence? And I thought I would share over the next 3 weeks, once a week, I'm going to share my challenges to ChatGPT's definition of confidence. Now, what you have to bear in mind about ChatGPT, I mean, who called it that? Because every time, I don't know about you, but every time I try to say it, my mouth gets into a knot. ChatGPT is that the information in that AI system is collected from information from human beings and what they think about things, the internet and all over the place. So it is the definitions that you get from it are probably pretty much what people believe to be true, or what's out there on the internet anyway. So the first part is that ChatGPT, when I asked what is confidence, the very first sentence was, and I'm going to do this sentence by sentence, there'll be a couple of sentences this week and the next week if you want a few more. So the first thing it said was, confidence generally refers to a belief or trust in oneself, one's abilities, knowledge, and judgment. Now, I would say that that's making it sound like the confidence is the thing that is connected to the belief, the trust, and the trust in oneself's abilities and knowledge and judgment. However, I would say that whether or not we can connect to our confidence is created by those beliefs and that trust in oneself, one's abilities, knowledge, and judgment. So let's just call it the belief or trust in oneself, because that's a bit shorter, a bit less long-winded. So it can look like then that if we believe that to be true, believe that confidence is to do with the thinking, to do with the beliefs, then we can end up spending a lot of time working on those beliefs, trying to change them, trying to get rid of them, trying to have better ones. Basically, that process, that illusionary process of changing our thinking. And it is an illusion. You cannot change your thinking. It doesn't work like that. And it's hard work. If you've tried to do that, you may well have noticed that it is really, really hard work to try and change your thinking. Now, I'm turning this completely on its head. Confidence is not to do with the belief. The belief is covering your confidence. Confidence is an innate or inherent quality that you are born with. And I've said this before, but I will say it again. You go to a wedding, who are the first people on the dance floor? The little tiny people who have utter connection to their confidence. They don't care what anybody else thinks about them. They don't have any thoughts about themselves and whether they're doing the right thing or following the music right or doing the right dance moves. They don't care that their bottom looks big in their outfit. They just don't care. So they get up on the dance floor and they dance, while the adults around the room are waiting to feel confident enough to do that. Because the adults around the room have a layer of thinking hiding that confidence. All they can experience is the thoughts about, well, I'm not going on the dance floor till anybody else does. I'm going to look stupid. I can't dance. And of course, what a lot of adults do at parties and weddings in order to end up on the dance floor, or the consequence of this is ending up on the dance floor, is that they drink. They drink alcohol, and all that does really is that kind of dissolves the thinking that was covering over, and different thinking comes in, because that's what alcohol does. It kind of gives you, it kind of makes your thinking different, doesn't it? So the thinking, oh, I'm amazing and sexy on the dance floor comes in, and then you're on the dance floor, aren't you? And so this whole kind of back to front definition of these traits is tending to point people in the wrong direction, into a great big piece of work around changing thoughts and beliefs so we can have a better experience. And actually, something amazing happens when you stop trusting the belief system. Because there it says, and I have got the words up in front of me, which is why I sometimes look a bit distracted today, but it's so that I can remember what ChatGPT said. That the belief, it's the belief in the belief that's the problem. When we start to go, oh, there's that thought that says I look stupid dancing again, but actually in my heart I really want to get up and dance, then you get up and dance, don't you? So it's what we can start to do when we realize that we have these innate qualities. What we can start to do is to become an awareness of that thinking that's stopping you connecting to those innate qualities, that's covering them over, and a revealing process can begin to happen. Because what I've noticed happens as you start to take the thinking a little less seriously is that it just sort of goes away. Like, there are thoughts now that I just don't have anymore that I used to have a lot. They're not there. One of them, the most recent ones, it's not to do with confidence, but it's a lovely example, is eating in the evenings. I used to eat my evening meal, and then like an hour after that, I'd be like, oh, just before bedtime, I'm like, oh, I need to eat something else. And I noticed that I didn't sleep well. I was getting a bit of reflux, which is not joyous, let me tell you, and all sorts of other things. It just wasn't, definitely weight was an issue. And I've just began to go, oh no, that's just a thought. I don't have to do that. That's not the truth. It's just a story. And there was a lot of story around it. And now that has disappeared. The last few nights I've sat on the sofa and it's just not been there, because I just stopped taking it seriously. So in actual fact, confidence is revealed when we stop trusting that conditioned, repetitive, habitual thinking that's been going across our heads for decades. When we stop trusting that, it goes away. Those beliefs that we believe so and we hold so dearly are just the past being regurgitated over and over again. So the second part of this first session, I can't believe it's taken so long to talk about the first part, but this will kind of tie it up. And so ChatGPT also said, confidence is a feeling or attitude of self-assurance and belief in one's capacity to accomplish a task or succeed in a particular situation. And the first thing that comes to mind when I read that is, what has it got to do with your ability to do something, how you feel? Let's say that the other way around. How you feel has nothing to do with your ability to accomplish a task or succeed in a particular situation. Nothing at all. Now, that realizing that you do not have to feel a particular way to do anything in your life, and that in fact you can go through life and not be held back by those uncomfortable feelings, that the lack of confidence, let's call it anxiety or fear or whatever. You can still go forward, because a feeling or an attitude of self-assurance and a belief in one's capacity is all part of that conditioned experience of life. Again, it's that repetitive, over and over again, same thing we've been thinking for decades. So we don't need to have any kind of feeling or attitude of self-assurance and belief in our capacity to do things in order to do things. And this is amusing me a lot at the moment, in terms of my own journey with self-development, which started with a lot of the kind of hustle and do the thing, and you make yourself do things. Now I'm finding myself coming full circle, and it makes me smile. Now it's not the same, because now there is a different relationship with thought, a seeing it differently, a realization that it is just a stuck record or a dodgy line of programming. It isn't the reality of who I am. And so when I feel an uncomfortable feeling about doing something, I know that that's just a bit of little me poking her head above the parapet to say, you're not safe to do that. Well, what does she know about that? What do all the people who told little Claire that she wasn't good at that or can't do that? They've got nothing to do with me at 52 doing anything in the world. So I'm sorry, ChatGPT. I've thrown you out with the bathwater. So hopefully that's been helpful, because these definitions are the definitions that are wildly and widely held in society, and we're using them to restrict what we are able to do in the world. So they need taking down, they need getting rid of. We need to see that they are not who we really are, that there is something so much more awesome than these thoughts, these old beliefs, this old habitual conditioned thinking that can hold us back. And your confidence is nothing to do with that. That is a beautiful innate quality you were born with, and you had when you were that little child on the dance floor, not caring a damn about what anybody thought about you. So it's a joy to keep looking in this direction and see what more you can see. It's like I feel like it's my life's work now. It won't ever end. But more and more of this essence of who I really am is being revealed. If you want to join me on that journey, the journey to enlightenment, then please do reach out, and let's hop on a free hour of coaching and start exploring and see what you can see. Take care. Lots of love. Thank you so much for listening. There's nothing to do now but bring some awareness to how this is working out in your life. Listen regularly to experience longer and longer periods of calm. This has been the Calmcast with Claire Downham, Queen of Calm. Take care and keep listening.